Hello and welcome back to another episode of Tech Champions. I'm your host, Daniel Beaty, CTO with AuditMax in Jacksonville, Florida. As you know, we take time each week to sit down with thought leaders and industry experts in the field of technology. We always have amazing guests on the show. Today is no exception. Joining us from Las Vegas, Nevada, is Eric Saint Marc. Eric, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Daniel. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. So, and I guess they're all eyes on Nevada right now with this week anyway, right? So, hurry up and count those votes so we can be done with the circus that we're all experiencing.
I gotta tell you, man, it's tough to be on the spot. So hopefully we can get through this and get back to our lives, right?
Exactly right. I think everybody's, no matter what side you're on, we're all ready for it to be over. So, but hey, let's talk a little bit about your history. I know you work with Thinkahead Technologies, but you've held a number of positions from cloud architect to soccer coach, so pretty wide variety. So talk a little bit about your background and some of your personal journey to this point.
Just quick background about I was born and raised in Paris. I'm an electro technician by trade. So quite interestingly for me, I'm very mechanically inclined. So low voltage telecommunication, that's really my background. And believe it or not, Danielle, I had no excitement growing up looking at computers. I hated computers. I couldn't understand why someone would spend hours in front of a green screen in a dark room. So fast forward 20 years later, I moved to Las Vegas with my wife, and I started working for a payphone company. So from there, I started dabbing into system administration, and very quickly I realized that I like computers. And I like to find myself in a dark room with a green screen and start coding. And from there, it came naturally to me. And I started coding and mostly backend database, specifically SQL servers. And interestingly enough, most Microsoft tools, again, it was like someone built those tools for me. And I got very comfortable with them, so I became a front-end developer, then a back-end developer. And if you ever come to Las Vegas, there's a company who's called Terrible Herbst. So they provide convenience stores, car washes, lubes, slot routes. They have a hospitality component. So they had several business models. So I started to work with them. And while I was doing that, I worked for a company what was called Purchase Pro, for which provided e-procurement services as a SaaS model. Back then, we called it ASP, Application Service Provider, specifically here in the Valley. And my mind started to work very fast. And before I know it, I had created several ERP applications. And then 2008 came in, and I realized that I had spent almost 15 years of my life on the development side. So now I wanted to spend time on the executive side and really understand, how do people make decisions about my technology? Well, what are the key drivers, and how do I benefit the business from that perspective? So I went to work for a company called Troriga, for which provided workforce optimization software for Fortune 500 companies. And believe it or not, Danielle, by 2009, we had created our first SaaS model, software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. And then IBM came in knocking on the door. They got super excited about the offering. And they were really focused at the time on building the cloud portfolio. So IBM purchased Troriga and became a cloud architect for IBM. Built many of their key infrastructure component, and obviously focus on the sales side. Then I went in and worked for the Palms as VP of IT at the Palms casino here in Las Vegas. did quite a bit of work there. Then Station Casino came in and bought us out. It was pretty exciting for me. And one thing I realized, Daniel, is I'm very good helping organization improve their IT environment. But that's something that has served me well. And then I moved on to work for WizardCom. And I did that for the last 2 years. So I changed all their operation engagement from a technology standpoint. And really the key was to be able to transform operational deficiencies to drive innovation. And that's what we have done for the last 2 years. Yeah. And now I'm moving on back to a consulting role with them, for which I'm still doing today. And Thinkahead Technologies is really my passion because it allows me to design solutions with the use of technology to meet an outcome.
Okay, yeah, that's it. That's great. That's it. No, that's an amazing journey for a kid that grew up not liking computers. You made a full transition, so that's an amazing story. I love to hear it. I wanted to ask you a couple questions about the pandemic, basically. So we're 2020 has been an incredible year. We could not have predicted it under any circumstances. It feels like something out of a fiction novel almost. But can you tell our viewing audience what you think the effect has been of the pandemic on businesses, specifically inside technology, and what advice you might give for moving forward out of this point?
I would like to add some premise to that. So I'm passionate about history, and one thing I realized through my life is history repeats itself. So if you're looking at 89, 91, we had a crisis. Obviously, we had the Gulf War. Then you fast forward to 2000. Obviously, we had the tech bubble. Then we had 9/11. Then you fast forward to 2008, financial crisis. And I will be honest with you. When I started working at WizardCom, I had mentioned that we will go again to another crisis. Obviously, I never thought that the virus, the COVID, would be the driver. But again, if you're looking at history, you're looking at 1918, and you're looking at the Spanish flu, and then you're looking at the 1927 crash. You also had that component as well as the virus, right? So I've always felt that 2020 will be interesting year. So I was looking at either 2020 or 2021. So when you're looking at life and you're looking at some of those factors, think about this. Empires, they rise and fall. Civilization expand and collapse. Economies grow and shrink. And you're looking at technology, we centralize and then we decentralize. So I entered 2020 prepared for the worst, and I always prepare for the best. I always prepare for the worst, hoping for the best. So I think that was the position I started in 2020. And one of the things we were able to drive right away for ourselves was when we realized that by March, we realized that we will need to send people home. We were prepared and were able to move about 40 to 45% of our employees remote very quickly, both from a remote capability in terms of software, VPN, and all that good stuff, as well as collaboration online using Microsoft Teams, but also having enough laptop to provision everybody. Daniel, one thing was crazy for me. On March 20th, I called Dell. I said, hey, do you have any more laptops? They said, we won't have anything for 5 weeks. And then I went to Best Buy, and I grabbed the last 5 Dell XPS 13 they had on hand. So just to tell you how quickly everybody reacted.
Right. Yeah, we had a similar experience. Some of our customers wanted to buy headsets, so I tried to order 5,000 headsets, and they said, yeah, they'll be there next week. And then next week came and went, and then it was a month, and then it was 3 months. And so, yeah, I hear exactly what you're saying there. It's been interesting. And, I know, Eric, you work a lot with young people. as well. And I'd love to get some of your thoughts on that 2021, so next year's outlook for that young IT professional in the field.
Again, our role, Danielle, as leaders is to train, coach, mentor, and inspire. And by doing those four things, we don't have to lead. And I think for many of the people who are listening to this, especially if you are young, look at 2021 as an opportunity for you to improve your skills and move away from just that singular focus that you may have on what you do today, and open your mind to things that you have never touched, and challenge yourself to just say, hey man, today I'm a front-end developer. Well, what about back-end? What do I know about back-end? What do I do? What do I know about the middle tier? What do I do? What do I know about API and so forth and so on? And explore. And the right word, and one of my idols, his name is Steve Jobs, and he has always said something who stays with me. Stay curious. Curiosity is the difference between someone driving versus someone standing. So the main thing I say for 2021 for everyone is be curious.
All right. Yeah, I like that. I love that. Actually, and the last question I was going to ask you, because we ask all our guests on the Tech Champion show, is what's one characteristic that it takes to make a tech champion? Would you say curiosity would be your answer there?
I would say curiosity definitely comes first. Number two is commitment, because at the end of the day, it's us. It has always been us, and it will always be us. So commitment is really the word for me. Obviously, curiosity, but commitment. I will use those two words.
Okay, yeah, that's great. And I want to thank you, Eric, for being on the show. You're very inspirational. Really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. What's the best way for people to reach out if they'd like to connect with you or learn more about what you're up to?
I'm on LinkedIn. I have a few posts there, so I think if you want to reach out, go on LinkedIn and give me a meaningful message. Please don't just say, "Hey, let's connect." No, tell me why you want to connect, and how can I be of any help to you.
Okay, that's great. I really appreciate the time today, Eric. It was great. And thank you to our viewing audience for joining the show today. I'm your host, Daniel Beaty. We'll see you next time on Tech Champions.